Today, I'm going to show you how you can save hours on exploratory data analysis and visualization without writing a single line of code. Our use case today will be to act as a junior data analyst performing exploratory data analysis on Netflix shows. We'll be using ChatGPTs Advanced Data Analysis GPT to act as a helpful guide on our journey. Now, I'm not promising just by following these steps you'll become some data analysis guru, but if you are someone that loves to dig into data but finds spreadsheets or Jupyter notebooks time-consuming to set up, ChatGPT really can be a massive time saver if used in the right contexts. Okay, to start, open up ChatGPT. Head over to the Explore page and select the Advanced Data Analysis GPT by OpenAI. You could also simply get going in the regular ChatGPT window, as it will automatically employ the Advanced Data Analysis GPT when needed. But I personally do like starting in a predefined GPT that better reflects my goals for a particular use case. So let's load in the Netflix dataset I got from Kaggle and let's get going. For those curious, here's a quick look at the raw data in a CSV file. My initial prompt will direct the GPT to act as a helpful and well-versed data analyst performing exploratory data analysis. Its goal will be to methodically guide and help me understand the data contained in the attached file. Each insight uncovered will ideally be accompanied by high-impact visuals that tell a compelling and insightful story about the data. And we're off to a great start. ChatGPT has methodically broken down the exploration into phases we can follow. The first phase is your data analysis 101, such as checking basic structures of the data, the sort of data it contains, any missing values, and general summary statistics to get a sense of our data. Following the basics, it then lets us know that we can dive into things such as the distribution of movies versus TV shows, genre analysis, country-based analysis, and a couple more options. Truly amazing. And then it goes on to give us a description of the columns contained in the CSV uploaded. This is really cool, as the CSV itself did not have any descriptions attached, but ChatGPT was smart enough to read the column, pick up on the context of the document, and add its own descriptions. This really is just like having a teammate help you do basic data analysis. Once the data analysis GPT completes its initial read, it then moves on to tell us about our data structure, such as that it contains 8,800 entries and 12 columns. And we can see that most of the columns are strings, so pretty much text, or release year, which is an integer. It also does a very important piece of any data analysis by making us aware of any missing values. As we can see, director is missing 26 values. But interestingly enough, ChatGPT is so full of knowledge that it knows that this is a common occurrence for TV shows, which may not have a single director. In the real world, this will probably be domain-specific knowledge. And yet here, ChatGPT is opening up our knowledge to the film and TV industry. Now, the point of today's walkthrough is to show you the capabilities of data analysis in ChatGPT, so I won't be going in depth into how you can deal with missing values in your dataset. Next, it gives us some basic summary stats based on the release year, and as we can see, most of the Netflix database was populated in the last 4 years, with a note that this data is only up to 2021. For today's example, I'll let it know that we'd like to continue with the general exploration and see what we can come up with. Now, this next step is going to blow your mind, as we'll see in a second. First, ChatGPT gives us a roadmap of the analysis it's going to guide us through, starting with distribution of types, release year trends, country analysis, genre and duration analysis. Exactly the type of stuff we'd want our junior analyst to dig into. As we can see, it started off with a chart showing us the distribution of types, movies versus TV shows. This bar chart is really cool, as ChatGPT went on to further add context to what it drew, letting us know that movies outnumber TV shows, indicating that Netflix has a larger catalog of movies compared to TV series. Next, it then goes on to show us how the number of movies and TV shows have changed over time using a line plot. Now, Netflix wasn't around in 1970, So I'm assuming this data set is basing its release year on the year the movie or TV show was released to the public. It then goes again to give us some key observations. It notes that there's a significant increase in the number of both movies and TV shows starting around the early 2000s, with a notable surge in the last decade. Which makes sense, as that's a decade when streaming was born and really took off. Interestingly, Netflix has doubled down on movies far more than TV shows, and looks like Netflix's new releases peaked in 2019. Next, it goes on to show that the US, followed by India, and then the UK are the countries releasing the most on Netflix. It also gives us the methodology of how it came up with this chart by letting us know that it counted the number of titles produced in each country and then visualized the top countries. Really insightful. And of course, its key observations being that the US stands out in terms of being a leading content producer, followed by countries such as India, the UK, and Canada. And then it goes on to examine the genres and takes into account that each title might be listed under multiple genres. And from this, it deduces that international movies and dramas are highly prevalent, suggesting a strong focus on diverse and dramatic content. Other popular genres also include comedies, documentaries, and action and adventure, indicating a well-rounded selection of content catering to various tastes. And the crazy thing is, this is all context ChatGPT is adding in basically from a spreadsheet. And here's the absolutely incredible part. If anyone here has ever tried to clean data in a spreadsheet or a notebook, you know that it can be very tedious and time-consuming. And just like us mere humans, ChatGPT also seemed to run into some issues, which thankfully it managed to resolve itself. As we can see, it initially encountered an error while converting the duration data for movies to integers. This is because it needed to change the movie titles into numbers that it could then plot as a distribution. So it identified nan, or not a number, values as the possible cause of the error, and realized that it needed to clean the data by removing these entries, all without our input. Pretty cool. However, even with that clever realization, the error still persisted, and then it went on to suggest that some entries in the duration column still contain the string min, even after attempting to clean the data. So it revised its approach behind the scenes to ensure that all instances of min were properly removed and that the data was correctly converted to integers for the analysis to run correctly. And quickly clicking into one of the code bubbles, we can see some of the steps it took to make this magic happen. Thankfully, ChatGPT's self-troubleshooting was successful, and it managed to successfully generate a histogram. And the histogram shows a generally normal distribution of movie durations on Netflix. Key findings of this data visualization include that most Netflix movies are between 80 and 120 minutes long, which is typical for feature-length films. And it seems its sweet spot is right around 90 to 100 minutes, making it the most common duration for many movies. And of course, with shorter and shorter attention spans these days, the distribution does taper off for movies longer than 120 minutes. Next, it goes to analyze the duration of TV shows, but this time in terms of the number of seasons. And key finding from this bar chart showed that the majority of Netflix shows have just 1 or 2 seasons, indicating a large number of limited series or shows that didn't extend beyond early seasons. And while most shows seem to run either for 1 or 2 seasons, there is still a number of shows with 3 to 6 seasons in the data. And just like that, we've gotten a pretty comprehensive overview of our data with only a couple of prompts. Okay, that was a pretty short and sweet journey, and we're literally just scratching the surface of ChatGPT's Advanced Data Analysis plugin. But I do hope you got an understanding of how you can begin to leverage this feature in your day-to-day activities. But before you employ these capabilities for real-world scenarios, be sure to ask yourself important questions about your data, such as how was it collected, is there any bias in it, and how reliable are the measures. This is because ChatGPT technically can make sense out of anything, even garbage. So you still have to remain on the ball and trust but verify ChatGPT in most cases. Also, a great starting prompt can keep your data exploration organized and on track. feedback. So take time to think through your opening prompt or even have a conversation with ChatGPT to see where you'd like to think first before getting going. I'd love to hear what sort of data you're going to be analyzing in the comments down below. Thanks for watching and catch you in the next one.